Here we can see the Cremona in his natural habitat.
What are you doing?
The Cremona has spotted us.
Get over here and help me. I thought you want to make dovetails.
We might be irritating the
I don't know.
Cremona.
Let's go. Come on. I got work to do. Got the chisels. They're sharp.
So now that we got that out of the way, I wanted to try my hand at some hand-cut dovetails, and I figured, who better to ask than Matt Cremona. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for making the trip.
You told me to pick up a couple things on the way. Some chisels. I think I got this set online for like $35. A dovetail saw, which was like $12, and a coping saw, which I think was like $6. Is that about all I'll need?
You need a few other things, and a few things here I'll show you can make yourself as well.
Okay.
So if you want to save some money, you can make your own. The first thing here is a marking gauge. This allows you to set the thickness of one board onto the other and give you a nice scribe line for chopping the backside of your dovetails.
Okay.
You also need a marking knife. Really easy to make as well. It's just a blade and a handle. And this is for transferring your pins to your tails or your tails to your pins, depending on if you cut pins or tails first. Which is a very big controversy.
Pins or tails first. I can't make heads or tails of pins or tails, so hopefully you'll describe that.
Choose your side wisely, alright?
Okay. And then what do we have here?
You also need a way to lay out the angles of your dovetail, so you can either buy a commercially available like layout jig, or you can make your own. This is just made out of some scrap wood. Cut at the angle that you want. This is a 1 1/8, which is 7.5-ish degrees. And you just use this to lay out your angles of your tails.
That sounds like the way I measure things, with an ish at the end.
Ish. Yeah.
That gives them the biggest fudge room. They get 7-ish
Just
degrees.
wait, there's a lot more ish things in dovetail cutting than you would imagine.
I should be pretty good at it if there's a lot of ish involved. That's about 12-ish. So why don't we just dive right in and show me how to cut some dovetails.
Alright, let's go get some wood.
Awesome, thanks. Matt started by milling up some cherry with an overall thickness of approximately 1/2 of an inch. He started out by showing me some of the techniques, laying out the pins and the tails, coping away some of the excess, and finishing up with some chisel work. And now was about time for my attempt. I started by using the marking gauge to lay out some of the cut lines. Click on this link to see how I made my marking gauge. Once I had some guidelines to go off of, I started cutting. I made sure to mark the waste areas so I didn't cut anything that I needed. I by no means want this to be a tutorial because, well, I was just learning dovetails for the first time, and it doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense for me to be trying to teach it after only doing it a couple of times. The major point to this video, for me anyways, was to try and tell people that you can go out to your shop and try something brand new to woodworking. It doesn't matter if it's intimidating or you're not sure how to do it, just to give it a try. Nothing's going to be perfect the first time around, and, well, quite frankly, mine wasn't perfect the second time around either. After most of my saw cuts, I was left with something that sort of resembled what was beginning to look like a dovetail. Once I had the tails cut, I could move on to marking out and carving out for the pins. Or is it the tails? I'm going with pins. In this particular case, I was trying to make half-blind dovetails, which means they weren't going to show from both sides. Using a Forstner bit over the drill press, I tried to take away most of the waste material, so I didn't have a whole lot left to try and carve and chisel out. Once being back at my shop and left to my own cheap dovetail saw, I realized that if I'm going to be making these, chances are I'm going to invest into a nicer saw. This saw has to be useful for something. Perhaps a mid-dovetail snack. Once my energies were fully replenished, I could move back to chiseling away. I just want to reiterate that I by no means am a dovetail expert. I just wanted this to maybe encourage or inspire people to try something that they haven't tried before. So this is what I was left with. It's eventually going to be a keepsake box, but for now, it was just about the dovetails. Well, until next time, happy woodworking.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
what the heck are you doing?
But Steve does it to his projects.
I like it. Nice shade. Thanks.
Yeah. It's a nice purple.